I don't know if you fucking knew this, but I used to make content for a game called Dark and Darker, which is a fantasy medieval looter shooter that's not really a shooter, but kind of a shooter if you count fireballs, where basically you pick a different class from rogue, fighter, barbarian, wizard. They added a lot more later on, like sorcerer, druid, fighter, and you take these classes either as a solo player or with a group into these dungeons. You fight monsters, fight other players, get loot, and extract. On paper, that sounds fucking awesome. When I realized that this game was even a thing, popped up on my radar, I was fucking stoked. For the playtest that I got to be a part of, I stayed up till like 5 in the morning. I didn't sleep. And I stayed up with a bunch of friends, and we were just counting down the minutes, okay, until we could join and download the game. And it was fucking awesome, and I made content. I had a bunch of Patreon subscribers, and it was so much fun because of what I thought it was. I thought it was going to be this really cool battle royale where you get to use all these different abilities and you come together to have combat. Instead, what it ended up being is this fucking grindy, hardcore, just horrific experience where people are carrying, 30 fucking pots of health, 30 bandages. They're bringing in crazy fucking weapons and armor that are like massively, massively overpowered compared to yours. There's no balancing for that. There's all of these different just like gaps in power and ability, and there's nothing you could do against that. If you come up against a player that just has, all purple gear and you have all white or green gear, it doesn't matter how well you play, it doesn't matter the abilities that you use, your shit is just not as good as their shit. And it basically became like this MMO, RPG. Maybe not without RPG elements, but like an MMO, right? Like you're going up, you're leveling up your character, you're getting bigger and bigger items, greater and greater items, and you're just destroying everybody else. And the monsters were really fucking tough, which was super annoying. The footage I'm sharing here is early on, very early footage, where nobody had a bunch of crazy shit. Everybody was kind of mostly the same. Like, yeah, there's some purples there, but it was mainly just blues and greens and whites, a little bit of purples scattered here and there. Nothing crazy. But all the monsters were super fucking hard, and this gear gap ended up making the game super unfun. And this is ultimately what I think is killing the game. The game started off with over 50,000 concurrent players, and now it's dwindled down to 7, 5, 4. It kind of fluctuates, and it has just been on a massive steadily decreasing decline since its launch. And I think my hypothesis is, speaking from personal experience as to why I stopped playing the game, is it's number one, too fucking grindy, and number two, super annoying to play against. I don't want to grind. Like, okay, if you live in America especially, just the cost of living, going to work, the soul-sucking nature of living in our disgusting capitalistic vampiric fucking society, okay, with our sickening government. Yes, there's a lot of great things about America, blah, 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 blah. But it fucking sucks. It's a drain, especially if you like layer on things like health issues, which I have. It's like so much goes into just you surviving and paying bills and just like eking out a fucking existence. And then you carve out time to load up your favorite games. And then what do you do in those games? You have to stab the fucking monsters 500 times to kill them. You have to grind out a bunch of matches to get this gear so that you can stand a chance fighting against other players. Most of the time it just gets taken off of you. You got to keep trying. And you're just slaving away trying to get like better and better and better and better gear so that you can try to maybe win against other people. And the more Dark and Darker ran, the more runtime it had, the farther it got off the runway, the more I started to detest it, because those things then got out of hand. Like, okay, let's say everything is perfect except the monsters, right? Everything just takes 500 fucking hits to do. super annoying, but if everything else is great, all right, I could maybe tolerate it for a while. Still, in the end, I think that needs to still be balanced. And we'll get to that here in a little bit. But it's just too much. It's just fucking too much. I don't want to play my game and fucking grind, okay? Especially when that grind feels completely unrewarding. I don't want to stop other people, and I'm winning because they're undergeared, and I don't want to lose because other people are overgeared. I think the fact that you could bring in as many potions and meds as you want, there's no weight. I think that was a very, very big missed opportunity, is having a lack of weight system. Maybe even limiting the amount of healing that you could have and bring into a raid. That would be really, really nice to have seen. But overall, the main issue would be the gear-based imbalance. So the game evolves basically into who farms longer wins. And that becomes the meta, instead of rewarding skill, timing, and tactical play. When top-tier weapons can one-shot you through decent armor, newer and casual players just stop bothering. It's fucking demoralizing. I don't have to grind just to keep up. I want to load in with friends or alone and enjoy just swinging my fucking sword and casting fucking spells and shit. And this is something that I really loved about Star Siege Dead Zone, is that you could just choose the abilities that you wanted. You can use them as much as you want it. Yes, there was a cooldown, of course, but that's what kind of made fights fun. It's like finding ways to use your two abilities that you had in combination with your guns and getting around other people. Now, that's another game that fucking failed because of the same fucking reason, is the gear imbalance. Instead of building the gameplay loop around the combat itself and making looting a way to basically get better gear, but that has to be balanced as well, okay? Yes, better gear, better swords, better, I don't know, spell books, better daggers, like whatever your class kit is, there needs to be a hard cap at how high that can go. So if a basic fucking dagger does 5 damage, then, you know, a white dagger does 5 damage, a green dagger should do 6, blue 7, purple 8, legendary 9. So, and no way to boost that. Like that's it. Like, just hard fucking damage. So, because there's not just a crazy gap, it's like, cool, I want to get my best gear, and maybe make that best gear, like, really expensive. So, yeah, you can get a little bit more of an edge, but it's going to cost you. Same thing with meds. Meds be very expensive to bring them in, because it's allowing you to basically remove all of the damage that you suffered, and make it so you don't have to be punished for the damage that you encountered. Armor, gloves, boots, leggings, chestplate, helmet, all giving you some damage reduction, but I'm talking about like 5%, 7%, 9%, 12% max reduction. So even if you take, like, let's say a free kit or a basic kit, which is free, all of your pieces of armor collectively are giving you, you know, combinations ranging from 4 to maybe 5, 5 to 6, 4 to 6, depending on your class, right? Maybe fighters have a little bit more compared to rogues, but the trade-off is you're slower and you're faster as a rogue. Shit like that. But you're basically the same, and it comes down to your abilities. That needs to be the fucking focal point. Or another way to go about it is making it so your armor reduction is mainly for PvE. Then you can keep harder monsters and shit, because now your armor is letting you, take those harder monsters on, giving you more survivability. Adding durability to this, so you have to upkeep your armor. Also, another way of going about managing, allowing you to sink your money in. So then it becomes, okay, if we're all basically the same, there's no way to get super awesome legendary weapons that just fucking one-shot and melt people, which turns everybody off. Newer casual players just turns them fucking off, and then it results in you just having this hardcore, player base is only these, like, I don't even know the kind of fucking players that is required to just be grinding and grinding and grinding and just like live for this shit. You know, those hardcore, they're still there now, 5,000, 6,000 players that are addicted to this, that are like the Tarkovs of the fucking world, Tarkov players of the world, that just keeps dwindling more and more and more as the game slowly dies off. Because there's just not enough support. There's not enough money coming in because there's not enough like lifeblood being pumped into the game in the form of new players and larger player bases. So all those people get turned off if you know they as a result of having all these OP weapons. So if you eliminate that, so it's like, okay, cool. The game is no longer about grinding out the best gear so that you can like reign supreme like some fucking World of Warcraft, you know, warlord, right? High level sorcerer. Instead, it becomes about the fights, about using your different classes' abilities and doing your best to balance all classes against each other. That's something else that needs to be talked about. It's like a fighter should have an equal chance against a wizard because it should come down to the abilities that they have. So if you're in a one-on-one fight in like an arena or something with, you know, obviously different points of cover, maybe some verticality for like rogues and shit, it's like each player should have roughly a similar shot against one another. And the gear that you have is mainly to give you survivability against mobs, which should be hard, not ridiculous. It shouldn't take 100 fucking hits from a white dagger to kill something unless like you're fighting a boss or something like that. Like regular mobs or, you know, a little bit harder, tougher mobs, elite mobs, even these things should not be fucking this crazy. Like, it's nuts. I think Arc Raiders is a great example of how strong mobs should be. So there's some that are really, really fucking tough that you can't really take on unless you are properly geared and you have maybe a party behind you. And that's maybe also an opening for the OP weapons. Maybe there are OP weapons, legendary weapons. But it's not like the damage doesn't go up versus players. It goes up versus the AI. So again, you're going into the dungeons and it's like, cool, now we're fighting against other players, and it's more of like hunt showdown combat style of combat where we're all basically the same, a little bit different types of weapons, and it comes down to like the items that we have, the gadgets, throwables, grenades, our abilities. So maybe not in this, you know, for Dark and Darker specifically, you're not going to have... I mean, there's some grenades like Molotov cocktails and shit in the game, but there's nothing like mines and shit like that. So it really comes down to the abilities, and that was the core, or one of the core exciting elements, at least for me personally, that drew me to the game. It's like, I want to cast fireballs. Yeah, that's awesome. I want to sneak around as a rogue. That sounds pretty cool. So when that becomes the focal point, then the combat becomes more enjoyable. Then it's like, every raid, there's going to be awesome PvP, and that becomes the adventure. It's like, are we going to be able to beat this team? Am I going to be able to 1v1 this person? Who has the better skill? Who can use their abilities the best? Instead of, cool, he has a orange sword, I can't do anything, I gotta run away. Cool, I just died because he has purple gear and I have white gear and I'm starting fresh. Why the fuck am I even being matched with these people? Just bad, just terrible, just super terrible. Then PvP becomes really enjoyable. Then fighting monsters, taking on bosses becomes really rewarding because you want that extra loot, both to help you become stronger against those mobs, but also to replenish very important items like surgical kits, potions, bandages, maybe potions of protection, health potions, potions of magical protections, whatever, the fucking luck potions, shit like that. I think adding more tools, items could also be really, really good as different money sinks, and also limiting the amount of meds you can bring in. Adding a weight system would be very helpful for that. Or having you only be able to use designated slots, so you have main slots for loot, and then special, quick slots or whatever that have a certain amount that you can bring in, or just make those items super fucking heavy so you can't bring a lot. There's like no point. But then people just stack it anyway, and they don't get the loot, and they just try to kill the other person. So I think that's bad as well. I think it should just be like statically restricted for everybody. You can only bring a set amount of bandages, of potions. I think going the route of hunger, the way they're doing it, is like having some items give you continual healing for the whole raid. You can just pull it out and use it, but it's very, very slow healing, but inexhaustible. And then having other items that are one-time use for hunger, that is going to be like ampules that you can inhale, which rapidly heal your health over time as long as you don't take any damage. That's a great caveat. So after combat, or you hide behind something, you flee, pop the ampule. That could be a potion, let's say, or something like that. Then it restores health pretty quickly as long as you don't take damage. But then that's it. So it's like you got to pick and choose when you're going to use these items to heal. Or if it's like a bandage, let's say, yes, you can just keep using it again and again and again inexhaustibly. But it is slow, and you can't get it back very quickly. So it's something that you have to do out of combat. But then you have your abilities. Different abilities, like clerics can heal. The ranger has the fucking little medkit thing that he can eat. The biscuits. The fighter has his way to regenerate, which could be like ultimate kind of abilities. So there's a lot of ways to balance everything around combat. And I think that's the sweet spot. And I think that's why Hunger is going to be very, very successful. That's why Hunt Showdown is incredible, and I have 4,000 hours in that game. Everything is balanced around the combat, not around power creeping, not around grinding the loot to become stronger. And that just fucking sucks, and I don't want to do that. I want to grind to pay for cosmetics, to unlock cooler aspects of the game, harder aspects of the game, to get better gear versus the game, not against other players, to unlock more abilities, and to pay for better tiered items, and all of like the medicals, like the cost of basically playing the game, like medicine, healing, shit like that. That's where I want all my money to go to. That's what feels really rewarding. And being able to unlock maybe greater forms of healing, more advanced forms of healing. So you could take like a basic bandage, and let's say we apply this idea of making it inexhaustible. You can use it as much as you want, whenever you want, but it's very slow. Over time, by playing the game, leveling up your character, maybe paying gold, I don't know, paying something, time, gold, you're able to unlock, also questing is a great way of doing this as well. You're able to unlock green bandages, blue bandages, purple bandages, legendary bandages. The ability to craft these. Crafting is a really great element. Having professions in crafting, Hunger is going to be doing this. I think that's another great way of, instead of making grinding for gear the focal point, it's like, no, make your profession in grinding for loot, grinding for craftables, grinding for blueprints, so that you can craft these things or buy these things, so that you have a better tool, but that has to be hard capped, so that the tool, the weapon, the armor is not giving you such an edge. So even if you have a legendary person coming up against a full legendary geared person coming against a white basic common geared person, like, the common gear person still has a great shot. They can still be outplayed. Like, yes, if you trade blows exactly, the legendary person is going to do a little bit more damage each time. So then maybe they require one less hit. So maybe 9 hits instead of your 10 hits. But you could still use your abilities to kind of play around with that. I don't know. Maybe not even that. Maybe it's even better just to hard cap it. So it's like, no. Make weapons have, yes, abilities versus PvE. Maybe have different weapons do different things. That could be possible. I know in Arc Raiders there's like a gun that allows you to shoot through walls. That's one way of doing it. Some ideas in that direction. But I think it's better to have maybe everything be completely balanced the same and just have different types of weapons that have different trade-offs. So a mace does more damage, but it's slower. The rapier is going to be faster, but deals less damage. Maybe having different armor have better bonuses against different types of, I don't know how complex you want to get it. I think keeping it as simple and basic as possible. I really do think having the weapon damage and the armor bonuses be versus AI mobs, the PvE elements are much better. That feels a lot better. If Dark and Dark was my game and I was able to just, fucking magic genie, snap my fingers, make it however I want, that is exactly what I would do. So then it's like, then you kind of keep actually the whole MMO RPG element where it's like, okay, you're fighting these these bosses, these elite mobs, getting better loot, and it's making your character look cooler. It's giving you more bonuses against those creatures, those bosses, against AI. You're able to do higher dungeons because you have better gear, and that's allowing you to make more money, basically. And like that then becomes the core element. It's like make more money so that you can then pay to play in raids, so that you can pay for your kits, basically, to play in raids. I don't know how advanced that should be, because let's say you have all legendary gear and you're going into a basic dungeon. You're able to one-shot everything, but then you're still taking on other players. I don't know. Maybe that kind of is very unbalanced. Maybe that's not as fun. Maybe just make it centered around restoring your medical equipment, your supplies, and affording your gear, affording to repair your gear, maintenance it. I don't know. Maybe it would be balanced if it has a high cost to keep your gear maintained. I know that in Arc Raiders, the more you upgrade your weapons, the different higher quality materials it requires to repair those gears. So maybe it would be balanced. Maybe bringing those into raids, even one-shotting regular mobs, you're still degrading your gear. I don't know. Those are just some ideas to revive and resuscitate such a great idea for a game, which is, a medieval fantasy battle royale with some looting elements. Like, there's so many things that could have made this game way more epic than it is, but as a result, it just kind of devolved into this grindy, hardcore fucking experience that is just a major turnoff to a lot of players. A lot of people I've talked to, spoken with, friends, acquaintances, people that I've run into. It's just the same fucking complaints again and again and again, and it's just tragic because it had the potential to be such a cool game, but hey, that's okay. It laid the groundwork for other games like Arc Raiders, Hunger to come out into the fold, and I'm really excited to see these games, to make content on them. I just want to make this video to really talk about this this very glaring weakness I see in these looter shooters, dungeon crawlers, extraction, looter shooters. It's the power creep making it not fun. I think it's just a terrible idea to balance your game around that. When you balance it around the actual fighting and not making it around gear, but around the actual playing, like actual PvP, the abilities you can use, I find that those games have a much more rewarding experience, and those are the most fun. Be it Dark and Darker, Star Siege Dead Zone, The Cycle Frontier, those games were the best at the beginning, when everybody was exactly the same. And why fuck that up? Why are we fucking with something that's already perfect? Keep that and build upon the base. How do you build upon the base? You add abilities that then allow you to manipulate the battlefield or do certain things, but then keep it so you're still just fighting on the same equal footing, but it's how you use your abilities. That becomes fun. And then you add in other layers where it's like, okay, now you got to pay for your basic equipment. There's durability. You got to pay for medical supplies. Maybe for mana or energy for your abilities, keeping that topped up. Like, there needs to be then money sinks, including cosmetics, of course, different items, different, keys. Like, the grinding should be rewarding by giving plenty of opportunities to spend your money. It should be a rewarding experience of unlocking different things, of progression, and never really feeling like I'm just doing this so I could steamroll newer players. Like, that's so shitty. The newer player, obviously they're going to be lacking in skill and experience, but they should have an equal shot across the board. It doesn't matter how long they've been playing. I think it's just weak and very lazy, like a weak game strategy in terms of development, and just very lazy when you make it just the gear. It shows that your combat, your PvP, the regular gameplay loop is not good enough. Because if it was good enough, people would be having fun, they would be fighting, and they wouldn't need to do this fucking grinding to bring better and better and better and better shit in. Why do I need to bring better shit in? Why can't it just be good by default? And then if I want to go grind dungeons, or if I want to go loot for stuff, or when I do, as I'm going through the dungeon as I do and come out with loot, I can then spend this stuff on, repairing my armor, getting some bonuses against, to make the dungeon a little bit easier, unlocking harder dungeons, cooler dungeons, maybe paying for training to unlocking better abilities, or training to help me learn better spells, cooler spells, different spells, and not spells that are like going to completely one-shot people, but like they have their upsides and their downsides, right? That's the sweet spot. And I think when a game can nail that, like Hunt Showdown, I know they don't have magic, but everything is like a baseline. Everybody has the same amount of health. Yes, there's different abilities, perks, or in that game it's called traits. There's different weaponry, but there's no armor. There's no way to really boost your health. The consumables are very limited. You only have 3 fucking medkit charges, 4 if you have a certain perk that's very expensive to get. You could bring in 4 fucking healing shots, but like that's ridiculous. Nobody does that. It's also very expensive. So that game, and I keep bringing it up because it's just such a great formula. All your weapons cost money. All your consumables, your tools, like everything costs money. And if you lose that, you lose your entire kit. So then you have to rebuy your kit. And or just go in with like a really shitty kit that's really, really basic. You don't have a lot of supplies. And that becomes the fun. It's like I'm going in to get the bounty token, or in the case of like, let's say Dark and Darker, I'm going in to get loot so I can come out and afford a regular kit, afford good supplies. But it's like there's no way to get such good shit. Like there's no power weapons really in Hunt Showdown. There's more expensive weapons that are kind of a little bit better, but nothing's providing you such an overwhelming edge that you just have no chance. And that's the main point that I'm really getting at here. I'm so passionate about this because so many games fuck this up, and then I just watch them slowly die. Like Dark and Darker, The Cycle Frontier, Star Seas Dead Zone. Star Seas Dead Zone is not even the same game anymore. It had to become a whole different game. Cycle Frontier wiped off the face of the planet. Dark and Darker, slowly dying over time. Okay, it's in gaming hospice right now. I don't think Arc Raiders is on the same track. I didn't get a chance to test their power weapons, the purples and shit. So I'll have to see. I don't know. I might have to reserve judgment. Maybe they will fuck up and make the same mistake. But I really enjoyed the playtest, and I'm really excited to see how the game unfolds. Hunger looks like to be on a really great track. It doesn't seem like the power imbalance is going to be so off or so off the chain, I guess, off the rails. There seems to be, better weapons, stronger weapons, but nothing that's going to be so overwhelming. And I think that's exactly where it should be. Because when games do that, it promotes the focus being, how do we make combat fun? How do we give people more abilities? So that every engagement is going to be fun for everybody, regardless of what the fuck they have. And yeah, you can have certain things that give you a little bit of an edge. Maybe you have more progression, you have more abilities, but everybody has an equal chance at killing the other person. When that happens, it's like every single engagement becomes fun. It doesn't become one-sided. And then you have this like kind of roguelike experience where every single match is like this new adventure that you go on, which is awesome and super, super fucking cool. So that's what I want to talk about here. It's kind of a little podcast episode. Hope you enjoyed it. Smash the like button if you agree with some of my sentiments. Comment your thoughts. Hit the subscribe button if you want to see more content like this. And I will see you in the next video. Oh my god. Yes. Just can't die to the axes. Okay, we can do this. Jesus. Holy fuck. Oh, yes.